This week has seen absolute carnage in Lebanon as Israel has shifted its war machine from Gaza to Lebanon. That has also seen the assassination of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. Israeli attacks have caused a mass exodus of Lebanese civilians from southern Lebanon. Thousands have been forced to flee with cars clogging the highways. About 500,000 civilians are now internally displaced inside Lebanon. Israel says it is undertaking its military operation in order to enable Israeli citizens to return to their homes in northern Israel. The Israeli Air Force has pounded residential areas of Beirut, which has led to the deaths of over 800 people. The size and scale of Israel's attack indicates, in addition to destroying Hezbollah's capabilities, Israel also wants Hezbollah to withdraw from the Israel-Lebanon border and pull back to behind the Litani River. This makes Israeli objectives eerily similar to the Russian objective in Ukraine, using military force for creation of a buffer zone in another country. Whilst the US continues to talk about the fear of escalation, just like with Gaza, US officials have said they recognize Israel's ration and agree with it. For the last year, US officials have been swayed by Israeli arguments and ended up agreeing to Israel's plans despite their public portrayal of calling for restraint. The US even agreed $8.7 billion in military aid amidst the carnage for Israel. The Iranian president, who was in the US for the UN General Assembly summit, has been focused on restarting nuclear negotiations with the US as Lebanon was being bombed. Israeli officials say they are prepared to move soldiers across the border if they deem it necessary. Hezbollah sat in the sidelines when Israel carried out its massacre in Gaza. Hezbollah argued it would only get involved if it expanded. Now, with their leader dead, the war has come to its doorstep. China has tested an intercontinental ballistic missile that landed in the Pacific. It's rare for China to test intercontinental ballistic missiles in international waters. Its last ICBM test in the Pacific was back in 1980. The missile that had a dummy warhead was fired from a Rode mobile launch platform in southern Hainan province on September 25th. The missile flew 7,500 miles, passing the northern Philippines and Guam before landing on its target in the South Pacific near French Polynesia. This test comes after China called off nuclear talks with the US back in July. The test also comes on the back of an arms race in the region, with the US distributing strike and weapons production capacity across to its alliance network. Few countries have intercontinental ballistic missiles in their arsenal, and testing is usually restricted to their own territory. China has more than 500 operational nuclear warheads and is on track to accumulate more than 1,000 operational nuclear warheads by 2030. The Pacific is now the region where a full-blown arms race is rapidly gathering speed and where great power competition will play out. In a damning report, Britain's army has been found to be too small to face current and future threats. Britain's House of Lords International Relations and Defence Committee concluded Britain's armed forces lack the mass, resilience and internal coherence necessary to maintain a deterrent effect and respond effectively to prolonged and high-intensity warfare. The report said all evidence it had heard points to the current size of the British Army being inadequate, and questioned whether the British Army is prepared to meet the growing threat posed by Russia to European security. This report comes after the former head of the Army, General Sir Patrick Sanders, warned that the British public would be called up to fight in the event of war because the military was too small. Under the previous Conservative government, troop numbers were cut to their smallest size since the wars with Napoleon, as they reduced the British Army to 72,500. Iran's Revolutionary Guards are now larger than Britain's conventional capability. Britain's decline as a global power has seen its military and industry shrink, and with its economic capabilities rock bottom, successive governments have cut the nation's military, and now the British armed forces would struggle to support its NATO allies with a land force in the event of war with Russia. Britain's economic capabilities now mean it cannot support the political ambitions of its elite.